Get ready. Wayback Machine 1 is on the air.
You're watching Classic TV on Wayback Machine 1. From Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis to Jack Benny, all for free. Subscribe today. Wayback Machine. Thanks.
Classic TV, Wayback Machine 1.
If there's anything I like, it's a good seafood dinner. However, under normal circumstances, I like my mackerel broiled with a little tartar sauce. The scene you're looking at is the happy ending to a rather exciting day in the life of Robert Beanblossom. It's hard to believe, but this morning it looked as though I was in for a very dull day. That's Mrs. Gillespie speaking. She's very nearsighted. And as you notice, Mr. Thackery and I are hanging on her every word.
And, Mr. Thackeray, if you do a good job in renting my beach house, I'll be most happy to turn all my property over to you for management.
Thank you, Mrs. Gillespie.
Oh, yes. Thank you, sir. You're ma'am.
However, the beach house must be rented quickly. As a matter of fact, I'd like to have the whole thing settled before I sail for Europe.
Mrs. Gillespie, you're sailing this evening. That makes it rather difficult.
Difficult?
Mr. Thackeray, it just occurred...
Mrs. Gillespie, houses the size of yours are rather difficult to lease at short notice.
Mr. Thackeray,
Can't you see that Mrs. Gillespie is speaking?
Well, I think she stopped now, sir.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
You look like a very bright young man. Haven't said a word since I've been here.
Oh, yes, but I was thinking every minute. Mrs. Gillespie, as I understand it, your beach house consists of 25 rooms and 10 baths?
And a bowling alley. Mr. Gillespie was so fond of bowling.
And, of course, exquisitely furnished all those lovely antiques.
Robert, come to the point. You have a point, haven't you?
Oh, yes, sir. Well, it just occurred to me, Mr. Thackeray, we might rent Mrs. Gillespie's beach house as a school. Perhaps a finishing school for young ladies.
Robert, it must be perfectly obvious we cannot rent Mrs. Gillespie's beautiful beach house as a...
Finishing school for young ladies? Why, that's a perfectly wonderful idea.
Finishing school for young ladies. That's a great idea. That's one of the best I ever had.
Then it's all settled. I shall expect to hear from you before I leave. Mr. Thackeray.
Yes.
Pay attention to this young man. He's thinking every minute. Where's the door? Where's the door?
The door.
Goodbye, Mr. Thackeray. And a nice young man.
You can see Miss Thackeray when the door... Oh, here, I'll get it, Miss...
Bob, let me!
Let me know when you've rented.
Oh, yes, indeed, Mrs. Gillespie.
Julie, you know a good eye, ear, nose, and throat doctor. This may be a compound fracture.
Oh, I hope not, Mr. Thackeray.
Just let me examine it, Mr. Thackeray. No, it seems to be in normal working condition, sir.
Thank you, Bobo. I'm very happy to have your professional opinion.
Thank you.
Now back to work!
The Gillespie file, Julie.
Oh, Julie, I have an appointment at the bank. I better get over there before both my eyes turn black.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and, Robert.
Yes, sir.
If you should run into anyone who would like to rent a large beach house for a finishing school for young ladies, feel perfectly free to sign the lease.
Oh, yes, believe me, sir, I won't let you down. Appointment at the bank. These are just the visiting hours when he can go and see his money.
Close enough.
Thackery Realty Company. Minerva, do you realize that this is the 10th real estate office that we've been to today?
And it better be the last. If you think I want to spend another night in that trailer full of seals.
Oh, no, dear, it isn't that bad. Last night you slept like a log. Didn't she, Sally?
You heard me, Joe. I don't mind Sally sleeping between us once in a while, but she snores like a foghorn.
Now, look, you've hurt her feelings. Look at her eyes. I think she's going to cry. Now, girls. Now, I want you to get down on the floor and stay there.
And not one peep out of you. For heaven's sakes, Joe, this time don't tell them what we want the house for.
Yes, dear. I still don't know why the whole world looks down on us seal trainers. Come on, let's go.
Oh, I'll stay here with the girls.
Anybody here? Is there anybody here? Anybody here? I'd like to find out if you happen to have a house for rent.
Oh, yes. Bob, will you take care of the gentleman?
Oh, certainly, Miss Marshall. A house, sir?
A large house.
A large house?
A very large house.
Well, you've certainly come to the right place. We have exactly what you need. Would you mind stepping in here, please? Yes, right in there. Just sit right over here. Just make yourself comfortable. Anything you don't see, just ask for it. Glass of water. Cigarette. Light. Oh. But there you are.
Please, could we discuss the house now?
Oh, yes, of course. Now, the house I have in mind for you is a very large house. In fact, it consists of 25 rooms and 10 baths.
10 baths? Oh, say, the girls will love that. You see, I have rather a large family. There's my wife, Minerva.
I see.
And the girls.
All girls, hmm?
There's 23 altogether.
You have 23 children?
Oh, no. You see, I'm Professor Bigelow. The girls I refer to are my pupils.
You run a school for girls?
Well,
Well, now, isn't this a coincidence? Now, this house happens to be precisely what you need. As you can see, it's a lovely, lovely large mansion right at the beach of Santa Monica.
Oh, on the beach?
Yes.
Say, that's delightful. All my girls can swim like
fish?
More like seals.
Oh.
When could we move in, would you say?
Well, today, if you like, I'd be very happy to drive you down.
No. I'll take it sight unseen. You have an honest face.
Well, of course, if you have that much confidence in me.
Oh, I do. I do.
I have the leases right here. Now, I'll just fill them out. And, oh, incidentally, Professor, about the rental?
Yes. I hope it isn't excessive. You see, we have no endowment, and the tuition money is coming in rather slowly.
Yes, I see. Well, what would you say to $500 a month? Excuse me, I just... My goodness, had a little explosion there, didn't we?
Thank you. That sounds quite fair. But since you'll be renting to a reputable school,
yes.
I'm sure terms can be arranged?
Whoops. Yes, I think we can do that.
Then it's a deal.
All right, sir. Now, I have here the standard California lease forms. As you can see, I've already signed them.
You just take this.
Oh. Yeah, got it? Yes. Just a second, plug it. Oops. Just tell it over.
All right.
I'm awkward today.
Well. There you are, Mr. Beanblossom.
Yes, thank you very much. This is your copy of the lease.
Thank you. Now, if I may have the keys.
Oh, yeah, keys? I'll be very happy to drive you down.
No. That won't be necessary. I have the address right here on the lease.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank
Beanblossom.
you very much, Professor. Yes, just this way. Oh. Professor, I believe you've forgotten something. Well, it seems to be a...
So it is. So it is. Well, as the French say, bon appetit. If you could learn to dance, you'd be worth 200 fish more a performance. Would you like that? Huh?
That's a good girl.
Did you see what a lovely place we have? And all because you didn't tell them what we wanted it for.
Yes, dear, you're absolutely right.
It's a young man.
That's Mr. Bean Blossom, the man from the real estate company. Girls, Sally, Bridget, come on. Go with your mother. Come on, get down here. Get down here.
Quickly.
Take them.
Quickly, girls. Girls, here. Come on, get Shakespeare. Come on, to your room. Come on.
Hello, Mr. Bean Blossom.
Hello, Professor. I see you got here all right. Say, I seem to have forgotten something
Mr.
very
Bean Blossom,
important.
we both signed that lease. There isn't anything you can
It's
do.
the key to the bowling alley, sir.
The bowling alley.
Oh, yes, there's one right here in the house, you know.
Oh, well, thank you very much. It was nice of you to bring it out.
It's perfectly all right.
Goodbye.
Oh, Professor, if you don't mind, I'd like to just try it and see if it's the right key.
Oh, well, I'll try it. I'll try. You make yourself comfortable.
Yes.
Oh. Must be here someplace. I'll find it.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Boy, this is a charming house. All those girls, too. I love the girls, but they never love me. Oh, hello there, Dougie. Here. Come here. You belong here, do you? Come on, Dougie. Come on. Wait a minute. You're a seal. But how did you... You're supposed to be in the ocean. Please get out of here. Look, Look, Professor Bigelow finds out this house is infested with seals. He'll take his girls away. Look, just get out the same way. No, honey, don't go in there. No, come. See, look. Honey, you mustn't go in there. Look. Oh, this is crazy. Look, please come out. Please. Go back. Get back out in the ocean. No, don't come here. Look, go. Oh, wait a minute. No, please. You can't go walking into people's homes like this. You're all wet. Wait a minute.
Oh, Mr. Bean Blossom.
Both of you.
The key fits perfectly, Mr. Bean Blossom. It's a lovely bowling alley. We're going to be very happy here.
You think so? I mean, thank you, Professor. Oh, Professor, I know you've only been here a few hours, but have you noticed anything, shall we say, unusual?
Unusual?
Anything at all?
Why, no, Mr. Bean Blossom. Have you noticed anything unusual?
Oh, no, nothing unusual at all.
That's fine. Me neither. As my...
I can explain this. You see, Professor, this is something that occasionally happens near the ocean at high tide.
The truth of the matter is my wife and I are animal
You
traders.
see, seals will be sealed, and you're right on the ocean. Oh, girls, get back to the water,
Go back
please.
to your rooms, girls.
Please.
Go back. That's why we love this place so much. Now, the fact of the matter is, we run a training school for seals.
Look, Professor, please calm down. Don't get it. You run a training school for seals? In Mrs. Gillespie's beautiful house? Holy mackerel.
Oh, don't say that word.
These are the girls? If all of you will just direct me to the ocean, I think I'll take the coward's way out. Sign it, please.
Oh, it isn't your fault, Bob. You were just anxious to please Mr. Thackery.
Yeah. Well, you'd think I could rent a furnished house without winding up with 23 seals as tenants. Did I say furnished? Look at this.
What is it? Bob, you made a mistake. You had Professor Bigelow sign a lease for an unfurnished house.
Mistake nothing. My subconscious mind was thinking every minute. Julie, you call a movie company. I'll have Mrs. Gillespie's furniture out of there by sundown.
Well, it's pretty late. They won't be able to do anything till morning.
Then I'll spend the night there. Those seals will use Mrs. Gillespie's beautiful furniture over my dead body.
They probably will. But what'll I tell Mr. Thackery?
You can tell Mr. Thackery that Mrs. Gillespie's beach house is in... Oh, hello there, Miss Thackery. We We weren't expecting you.
Now, what's this about the beach house? Having difficulty getting occupants, old boy?
No. It's occupied, all right. In fact, I rented it today.
You see, Robin, when you want to rent a house as big as that, you have to place it with a number of other... Rented? Whoopee! What a break! Now I'll get all of Mrs. Gillespie's business. Where's my hat?
Mr. Thackery.
Well, I couldn't do that again in a million years. Thank you, Julie. Bobo?
Yes.
I'm going to see to it that something extra is put in your pay envelope for this.
Well, thanks, sir.
Naturally, you have a signed lease.
Oh, yes, sir. It's signed, all right.
And did you by any chance happen to rent the house to a school, to a finishing school for young ladies?
Oh, yes, it's... I mean, it's a finishing school for... it's run by Professor Bigelow, sir.
Well, good boy. Bobo, the training I've given you is starting to bear fruit. I want you to take the rest of the afternoon off.
10 minutes to 6, yes. Thank you, Mr. Thackeray. Julie, would you like to drop me off?
Yes, and maybe I'd better come along. Thank you. Goodbye, Mr. Thackeray.
Night, Mr. Thackeray.
Good night, kiddies. I can hardly wait to get on that telephone and tell that sweet Mrs. Gillespie how I unloaded her white elephant. Thackeray Realty. Willis B. Thackeray speaking. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Hello? Oh, where is that mouthpiece?
Hello. Hello.
Oh, hello there. There you are, Mr. Thackeray. This is Glenda Gillespie. I'm down at the pier checking my luggage. Oh, have you rented my house yet?
I'm very glad you called, Mrs. Gillespie. As a matter of fact, we have rented your house, and the tenant has already moved in.
Oh? What sort of tenants?
A finishing school for lovely young girls from our best families.
Oh, how very nice. Oh, listen, Mr. Thackeray, you know my boat doesn't sail for several hours. I think perhaps I'll go out there and see if they have plenty of linen and silverware.
Excellent idea. Do that.
Oh, another thing, we might even have time to discuss your handling my business affairs. Can you meet me out there?
Can I? Certainly I can. Goodbye.
Did you look up the Seaside Ballroom on the map?
No, but we'll find it, don't worry.
You said that when we were looking for the steel pier in Atlantic City.
Sally, you're getting to be a regular butter nose. And another thing, when I'm telling a joke, don't you step on the laughs, understand? I'm the comedian. I get the laughs.
All right, you two, stop bickering. Have you got the fish for Sally?
Yeah, the glove compartment is chock full. There, let me give you a hand there, honey. There we are.
Professor Bigelow! Wait, Professor, I've got some good news.
Good news.
Well, good for me, bad for him. Now, where do you suppose they're going? Oh, maybe they'll be back soon.
Maybe.
Did you ever see such a sneaky guy? The moment he hears I'm coming, he runs away.
Well, Professor Bigelow didn't know you were coming.
Well, that makes him twice as sneaky. I just don't trust that man.
Bob. Why are you ringing the bell?
Why am I ringing the bell? Oh, yeah. I guess I thought one of the seals was going to open the door.
I realize they're very clever, but you'd hardly expect a seal to...
Well, there you are, Julie. Never underestimate him.
I don't believe it. It's a seal impersonator.
I hope we're not disturbing you girls.
Well, that's two. Where are the rest of them?
Just say mackerel, you'll see. Say, I better start moving those beds down here before the professor gets back.
Look, Bob, when he sees your car parked outside, isn't he going to know he has visitors?
Say, I never thought of that.
I'll move it up the road a little bit.
Fine, Julie.
That car looked like... What would Bob be doing down here? Anybody here? Oh, Professor. Professor Bigelow. Professor? Professor? We've had some high tides lately, but this is ridiculous. I wonder if there are any more in there. No, I guess that's all. Where'd that fish go? Oh, I guess that seal ate it. Seal in the living room? Not another one. That one's wearing a hat. A hat! Oh, Professor?
Yes?
My name is Thackery, Willis P. Thackery. I'm afraid I have a little surprise for you.
Surprise?
Yes, you know, these beach houses have many advantages, but at the same time, there are things you have to put up with.
I've got to step out.
Oh, I'm very sorry. Did I hurt you?
No, Miss Thackeray, you didn't.
Bean Blossom, what are you doing here? And what about those seals?
The seals, yes, I was just going to explain that, sir. You see, Professor Bigelow runs a school for seals, not young ladies.
School for seals?
Bob, a cab's just pulling into the driveway, and I think Mrs. Gillespie's...
Mrs. Gillespie?
Oh, hello, Mr. Thackeray.
Pleased to meet you.
What are we going to do about the seals?
There's one with a hat. I'll get rid of him first.
I'll help you.
It's me. Where is everybody?
Right here, Mrs. Gillespie.
Oh, there you are, Mr. Thackeray.
No, I'm Mr. Bean Blossom. Remember me, Mrs. Gillespie?
Hmm? Oh, yes, of course, that nice Mr. Bean Blossom.
Mrs. Gillespie, I understood that you were leaving for Europe this evening.
Oh, yes, I am, shortly. But you see, I have an appointment here with Mr. Thackeray. Oh, by the way, where is Mr. Thackeray?
Well, he's right there. And Miss Marshall came out, too.
Oh, yes, how nice to see you again, Mr. Thackeray. Shall we all go in the living room?
The living room?
Yes, let's go along. It's so much nicer. I can't imagine what's happened to my glasses. They seem to be getting worse and worse. Whoops, oh, this must be Professor Bigelow. How'd you do? Nice to know you.
Wouldn't you like to sit down, Mrs. Gillespie?
Yes, thank you. Now, tell me, do you think it's too late for me to meet some of the dear girls?
Girls?
Yes.
Have you any suggestion on that, Bob?
The girl? No, I don't think it'd be possible to meet any of the... What? Well, you know, here's one of them now. Mrs. Gillespie, I'd like you to know Hortense. Hortense, this is Mrs. Gillespie.
Oh, how do you do? Oh, you are a dear. Oh, Professor Bigelow, she really is a dear. Such a little one. What did you say your name was, darling? She has a very bad cold, hasn't she?
Yeah, she stepped out the other night without her galoshes.
Mr. Thackeray, don't you think you'd better be taking Mrs. Gillespie back to the boat?
Oh, yes, we ordered Mr. Bolt.
Oh, yes, he said, I'll drive you over.
Oh, no, that won't be necessary at all. You see, I have a cab. Besides, I want to see to the linen.
Oh, Robert will look after that. See you in the morning, kiddies. Come on.
Very nice to have seen you again, Mr. Bean Blossom. And you, my dear. Oh, you know, you're much too lovely to be secretary to these two men. Goodbye, my dear. Goodbye.
Come along, Mrs. Gillespie.
Thank you. My hero. You did it again.
Yes, thanks to Hortense. Oh, no, I like Julie's much better.
tremendous response from our new subscribers. More and more people have found classic TV and movies here on Wayback Machine 1, all for free. We hope you'll join the fun and subscribe today. The classic shows are here. Wayback Machine 1. Thanks.